Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. The thank you button for the replay squad. Um, wow, y'all. Okay, all right. Um, so this is gonna be about real talk with Yanny, but y'all know how Mr. Z work. It's not really about her. It's more of a macro conversation where we use her as an avatar to speak about women, black women that are like her, right? So, and shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. Let's give our shout outs real quick. Grab second gears in here. Indigo is in here. Toyo's in here. Better You's in here. What's going on, everybody? Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. Toya, did you see? Did you click that link? Especially for the first video. The second video, she came down some. That first video, look, I'm not trying to be funny. No, see, all jokes aside, Yanny looked like she low key losing it. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm okay. Let's end all joking and chuckling and giggling. And it's actually a little bit frightening, right? To kind of see like a person going through that and then telling you they're not going through that, right? And like their pride won't let them admit that this is a thing for them. This is like bothering them. So the more they try to say like, no, I'm good, the more they seem, at least for me, okay, at least for Mr. Z, I'm not gonna speak for everyone else. At least for me, it's coming off more like, nah, you not good. And the more you say you are, the more unhinged you come off. And I'm not doing that to be like, oh, she doesn't want to send her in, then she gotta be a crazy woman. Like, I'm not one of those dudes, right? But like, I don't know, maybe if she comes back on this video in a year, she'll see what I'm saying, right? Because as of right now, whew, it's ew. Okay. So let's touch on a couple of points because yeah, I don't want to get too much. I'm not a therapist or psychologist, so I can't really get into her mental space. That's for the professionals. But yeah, at least from the outside looking in, yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Yeah. So and yeah, same thing. I get the sense that she's not used to being pretty. Yeah, yeah, it's. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get to some of the points. The humble brag, right? Oh God, of course Yanny engaged in the humble brag. Of course she did. Of course she did. I get a lot of attention from the opposite sex on a daily basis, right? Getting sex from men is not hard. They are easy to get sex from, right? Okay, 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 Yanny. All right, we hear you. You got it. You lost some of the weight. The curbs showing. You in Texas, so them dudes is, they after you. Okay, Yanny, we hear you. We hear you, right? Which is very interesting when she says that and she says she still goes out and flirt with the opposite sex, or she flirts with men. And the way Yanny speaks about men, she doesn't speak about men like men are a different sex. She speaks about men like they're different species of being, right? She doesn't speak about men like like okay, these are the opposite sex to me. She speaks about them like they're a different being. And let's be very clear, Yanny, you know why you still go out and you still flirt? You actually like the attention. See, that's your power move. That's your power move. It's to get the attention and to flirt and then to walk off and leave them brothers all hot and bothered. That's your pride talking, Yanny. Yanny, we got sisters too, Yanny. Black sisters. We got girl cousins too, Yanny. We got black girlfriends too, Yanny. We have black mothers and black aunts and black grandmas over here too, Yanny. We know you, Yanny. Yanny thinks she doing something slick. Yanny, what you think we don't know who you are? Right? I still flirt with them. I still have conversations, right? Like Yanny, of course you do. You still want the attention. You want to decenter men. You don't want them to stop decentering you. That's not how this works. What? Right? And by the way, that's understandable. People like attention. That's not just a woman thing, by the way. It's a particularly egregious with women, but it's not just a woman thing. Of course, you want the attention, right? Like I said, You want to decenter men. You don't want them to decenter women. You don't want men to decenter women, and you definitely don't want men to decenter you, especially the men you find attractive. Your pride only goes one way. I get it. You get to have it, men don't get to have it, right? So Yanny plays a series of clips, and some of us have seen these videos and these clips on either IG or TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, but either on Instagram or TikTok, where it's women sitting at a table eating lunch or eating dinner together at a restaurant, or they're at home in a living room and it's quiet because they're not complaining about their men. Right. In the these videos or these clips would usually have a caption that says something like, when your men are acting right, or when your man and you stop arguing and you mean with your homegirls, and it'll just be quiet, and all you hear are the women chewing and them, playing around with their cutlery and everything like that, right? Their eating utensils, and it's just absolute silence, right? And so Yanny plays a series of these clips to essentially say, like, what are women doing or talking about if we're not talking about men? And that's a really good question. We have also asked that question in the Black Manosphere. What exactly are women talking about? Right? Do women find other things interesting outside of just talking crap about men all day or talking about men all day? Right? And it's a good question. Do women talk about politics? Do y'all care? Do y'all talk about cars, space, technology, bioengineering, the future, sports, war, history? It's a really good question, Yanny, right? And Yanny's, she says she cut off a lot of her homegirls, that kind of were always talking about men and centering men. First, let's say this because Yanny said something that's inspiring this comment right now. You can't be in a relationship and decenter men. You can't be in a relationship with a man and decenter him. It's about both of you, and you center each other. And what the other person cares about, even if you don't care about it, you care about them. So you care about what they care about. I don't know, Yanny. It's not just you, and it's not just women, particularly for women, 21st century women who feel so aggrieved, just like you do. I don't know where y'all get this. I want to be selfish, but I want all the accoutrement from being selfless come from. It don't work that way. Yanny, you're only getting this far because you're a shapely woman and you're light skinned in this world right now. All of that, I'm gonna be selfish and I'm gonna be snarky and I'm gonna be, with this attitude. The only reason it's kind of flat is because you still kind of young, right? You still kind of young. You shapely. You in Houston with all them with all them brothers over there, right? But this only lasts for so much longer. I just need the clock tick, and I maybe that's what you're feeling is that people are telling you you're getting older and the clock is ticking. Yanny, it is. It is so interesting to hear, and I'm saying younger. I'm putting younger in quotes, but air quotes, younger women lament other women, men, society telling them, "Hey, you better hurry up." Excuse me, the clock, and like it annoys them and it aggravates them. But we're only telling them the truth. Like, bro, it's a whole different for human beings. It's a whole different world after 40. I listen to my elders that tell me that, hey, be careful what you eating, be careful how you exercise and whatever, because it's a whole different world on the other side of 40, definitely on the other side of 45 and 50. And for women, it's a different world depending on how you're aging, on how men approach you and what men approach you. And so many women on the south side of 40 get annoyed and angry and mad when society, when men, when other women tell them this or imply or suggest this. And then they get on the other side of 40 and they're like, oh, crap. Well, we tried to tell you, right? We tried to tell you. So Yanny has this issue with she said as a former people pleaser, let me tell y'all her exact words. What was her words? As a former people pleaser, right? As a former people pleaser, I want to be selfish and self-centered. Okay, Yanny, not just you, but like you, other women like you, other people like you, but other women like you, y'all already selfish and self-centered. You just want to be even more selfish and self-centered. Y'all already selfish and self-centered. And she goes into her spiel about, she was the one child her parents could rely on. Now, from my understanding, Yanny has two brothers, right? So once again, she's doing the whole bitter, angry sister thing. For all of us that have a sister, I promise you, talk to them. Eventually, they're gonna get to the point of, mom and dad babied you. You didn't have to do this. I had to do it. You didn't have to do that. I had to do it. And all of this other stuff. I promise you, if you have a sister, younger or older, it doesn't matter. There, trust me. Eventually, it's gonna come to the boys got to do this, and I didn't have to. I had to be responsible, and the boys didn't. I'm telling y'all, right? I'm telling y'all. So Yanny got into that bag. Now she didn't use those exact words, but yeah, she pretty much used that. That was the sentiment, right? And so now, as a former people pleaser, you know, she wants to be selfish and self-centered. By the way, Yanny, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing legally wrong with that. There's nothing politically wrong with that. Maybe even socially wrong with that. There's nothing economically wrong with that. Now, whatever consequences come from that, you have to eat it, right? You have to eat it, right? So if you want to be selfish and self-centered, understand as much as men are chasing after the vagina all day, every day, I want you to understand, any man that you want that's aware, he's gonna smell that on you and he's gonna treat you accordingly. I don't know where people get this thing from where I want to be selfish and self-centered and all about me, but you can't be. All right. You're right. All right. You're right. And Anubis, thank you for the super stick. Well, super chat. And he has 2 coffee mugs up. Morning to everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Right. And once again, for those of you that are hearing, we're speaking about Yanny, but it's not just about Yanny. We're speaking about people in general that think like this, women specifically, black women even more specifically than that. And we're using Yanny as an avatar. And this is not even just to beat up on her per se, because you see this with a few women, right? And this is what I actually should have started off with. Yanny, you need to look up the She Economy, right? Written up by Morgan Stanley. It's a memo where they these are people that are playing with millions and billions of dollars, so they're not just guessing their way through these things, right? So this was a forecast. I think the She Economy memo came out in 2018, maybe 2019, somewhere around there. It could have been 2017, but I think it was 2018 or 2019. And it forecasts some 45% of women being single and childless, right? And it actually speaks about this memo was for Morgan Stanley, because remember, this is an investment bank, to speak to its investors and get them to start targeting you women with products and advertisement, right? So first of all, you being single was predicted. Oh, by the way, the years were from 2018 to 2030. Somewhere about 45-ish% of women were going to be childless and single, right? And Anubis asks, who is Yanny? Real Talk with Yanny. She has a YouTube channel. She has some 200,000+ subscribers. You could put her up there with Chrissy and Paris Milan. She's part of that kind of camp of content creators. Yeah. Right. So Yanny, it's very interesting because we have our own individual lives and we have experiences, and because it's very personal to us, obviously, because it's happening to us, we don't think that what we're going through is like predictable, right? Like somebody did a math equation and they predicted that this and this would happen to this much of the population, and you're just part of that, right? because it's happening to you. So obviously it's very personal to you because it's happening to you. But in all honesty, you're just another number on a chalkboard, right? And not only that, but you're not doing the things to not be just another number on a chalkboard. As a matter of fact, you're attempting to find coping mechanisms to help you reason being another number on a chalkboard. And sometimes it's beyond our control, by the way. I understand that I'm still a black man in America, right? So, you know, if Yanny wants to be selfish and self centered, there's nothing wrong with that. But that does come on the other side, that does come with some consequences, especially if you, Yanny, are looking for a man that earns as much as you or more, right? And you making what, six-figure type YouTube money? That's good. But a man that's earning that much, he's somewhat aware, he's self-aware, and he's aware of women, and he's going to smell that on you. And that puts you in the jet smash category. Now, at currently, Yanny is a year plus celibate, according to her. So if he's not even going to be able to smash, then guess what? Then there's no conversation. You get lucky if you get him to flirt a little bit, okay, because he ain't really read into you that much yet. But once again, once he smelled a selfish and self-centered, hey, right? All right. I don't know how people think this work, right? I want to be selfish and self-centered, and I like my alone time. Yanni says she likes her alone time. All power to her. Good on her. All power to you. All right. You want to be selfish and self-centered, and she makes another comment that speaks to that also, right? And I'm looking for it right now. And she says, "I don't give a f." I like that. I don't give a f. All of this is just screaming negative liberty. Where's PK when you need him? All of this is screaming negative liberty, right? Nothing wrong with that, but there are consequences, right? And well, you know, hey, listening to her speak, yeah, and it actually reminded me of a clip I played from a Adam Curtis documentary. I think it was "Get Out of My Head" or something like that. I can't remember the name of the documentary. I'll have to go back and find it, but I have the clip saved. I have the clip. One of the videos I did a couple years ago, I actually played that clip of the lady speaking. And it was and she had to actually be put on antidepressants and everything like that. And she sounded much like Yanny. It was a white lady back in, I want to say, the 1960s, maybe. And she was speaking about she wanted to do her own thing, and she was tired of being who other people wanted her to be, and eventually doing her own thing got her in so much trouble. And this is an adult woman. This is not a little girl, right? And she messed up a whole lot, and she ended up just becoming exactly just kind of falling back in line. And so I'm not telling I'm not saying that Yanny and other women like her just to fall in line, right? No. At the same time, if you are going to go out on this road, understand the pitfalls, the rocky trail, right? Of air quotes doing your own thing, right? Of I don't want to adhere to anyone. I want to be free, and that's what Yanni's on. That's to sum up everything. I want to be free from all expectations, from all societal norms. I want to do whatever the hell I want to do. F everyone and everything. Once again, she said it. I want to be self-centered and selfish. Alrighty then, right? Nothing wrong with that, but it does cause something. There are some consequences to that. And when I say consequences, I really mean it in its neutral term, not negative or positive, but it's in its neutral term. There's something on the other side of that equal sign, is what Mr. Z is saying, right? 3 plus 3, there's something else on that equal sign. There's something else on that equal sign of 2 plus 2, right? So if you want to be selfish and self-centered, I don't know how much that light skin and that curvaceous body, I don't know how far that's gonna get you. For some guys, maybe, right? You might get lucky and catch you a simp. It's possible. It's possible. But if you're looking for someone like Yanny, some 10 toes down, a man's man, I don't know, right? So, hey, there's that. Right? And of course, Yanny got into the manifest talk, so let's get into it. She was speaking about when she got a loft, a 3 bedroom loft somewhere in the downtown area of where she is. She spoke about getting a BMW. She went to the lot. She wasn't even expecting to buy the car, and she drove off with the car. And then they end up calling her and refinancing and dropped her payments and everything like that. Yanny, you're making YouTube money. Right now, she tries to mitigate for what she's saying by saying, I had to make sure I put myself in the position and I was in the right position. And Yanny, you've been making YouTube money for years. Stop. Okay, this is why so many women are delusional. Yanny, they listening to people like you who's been making 6 figures for years now. You making YouTube money. And for many men, they find you fairly attractive, particularly black men. And then your average sister that's earning 40 and 35,000, maybe not even that much, 35 and 40 and 45 and $50,000, gonna think all that manifest thing is gonna work for them. They don't got the money, they don't have the looks, they don't have the access. And you over here pushing manifest talk. Now, Yanny never said the word manifest. She never said the word manifest, but it was all manifest talk. So a year and a half ago, y'all were all with this manifest talk. Then before that, y'all, all of this Orisha and the African gods and all of this spirituality, and she did continue with the spiritual talk. I'm very spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person. Oh boy. Oh boy. I hear you're Anubis, but there's brothers that do think that, so we got to make space for those brothers. Like we all have like the look, the niche where we all have our like, oh that's yeah, I love that, and like for the rest of us, we'd be like, meh, right? Everybody has their thing, right? So I hear you, Anubis, but I'm saying that because for a lot of brothers, that's their thing, right? And it's crazy that Yanny, you've been making YouTube money. You've been making good YouTube money for years. You have what, 220, 230, something like that, 220, 230, maybe even more subscribers. You doing numbers on YouTube. You've been doing numbers on YouTube for years. And so you got the loft that you wanted. You got the BMW that you wanted, and but you think it's because I positive thinking and I put myself in. Yeah, you put yourself in a position financially. It ain't all this extra other spirituality stuff and manifest stuff. No, you put yourself there financially, and then you got it. So that means you have a good enough credit score, you put enough down, and there you go. And yet it's not really about you and other women like you. It's all the other women that listen to you that will never be in your position. And you pushing this weirdo manifest talk. And then men like me have to deal with women that listen to you. Right? They listen to you and other women like you. And then that's the girl we have to deal with in the AutoZone line, or in the McDonald's line, or in the Walmart line, the Target line. Or that's the lady that's dealing with our money at the bank, the bank teller. I know there's like a few bank tellers now because automation and all the 21st century stuff, but still, right? That's the young lady we work next to on the factory floor, on the or next to in a cubicle somewhere, in some office somewhere. She got you in her headphones. She has Chrissy in her headphones. She has Paris in her headphones, and y'all filling their heads up with all this weirdo stuff. And when it doesn't work for them, then they're mad at the world. And we just so happen to be the co-worker sitting right next to them. Thank you, Yanny. Right? Because in her mind, I've been manifesting and I've been positive thoughts and right? And I'm decentered, man. And I haven't had sex in 2 years also. And why isn't it not working for me? Well, you don't look like Yanny. You don't have Yanny's money. Right? That's why. But Yanny telling you about manifest. All right. Once again, not putting words in her mouth, she did not use those exact words. Manifest was not the word she used. You listen to her enough, though, you know that's exactly what she's talking about. Positive vibes and spiritual this and oh, that's scary, right? And Will AR says, and thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, these women want the agency and freedom, but not the personal responsibility and personal accountability that comes with agency and freedom. Typical. Bro, you couldn't say it better. You couldn't say it better. Right? And once again, the reason why this matters is these are the people that Richard Reeves wonders why they're not getting married and why we're not marrying them. When Scott Galloway says, it's important that a man has sex and he has a woman that tells him to put the weed down, put on a clean shirt, iron it, and go get a job. These women? Wait a minute, Mr. Galloway. These are the women you think that's going to do that? Yeah, right. These women. Man, get out of here. First of all, they only looking for baller dudes. Let's get that out the way. So the dude already has his own place and already has a clean iron shirt. It's dry cleaned. First. Right? They're not checking for the dudes you talking about, Mr. Scott Galloway. Right? And these women are more likely to leave you before they have to say anything. What part of Yanny look like she's trying to do anything? Air quotes, build. They like using that term. Build with anyone. Yeah, right. Right. Indigo's hysterical. Indigo said, nah, manifesting is real. I manifested good credit. It took me like 15 years, though. Oh, look, man, look. And it's because if y'all watch, especially the first clip, not the second one. The second one, it's like she's coming. She done relaxed a little bit. I don't know what. It's something grinds someone gears. Like some of it, Toya will tell you, like, and all better you would tell you, all the content creators will tell you, like, sometimes you gotta hold yourself back from making the video or putting out the content instantly when you think something or when you feel something, because you might say some stuff you can't reel back, right? Or at least you might give off a certain energy that you can't reel back. It's out there in the ether from now on. You don't know who downloaded your video. You don't know who recorded it. So it's gone now. It's out there, right? The internet is forever. That's why they tell you the internet's forever. Once that content go out, yeah, you could delete it, but you don't know who. We have 8 billion people on the planet. You don't know who saved it. You don't know who recorded it, right? So sometimes you have to, take a second. And it looked like Yanny was so frustrated that either her homegirls or some of her friends They keep on talking about men when they go out, or they're centering men because that's, I mean, men, yeah, men are different. We have other subjects that we care about, but clearly, Yanny, it's not just your friend circle. I've heard this from multiple women, and it's not going to stop, right? It's just not. I'm sorry, Yanny, it's not. Especially if you got black homegirls, yeah, it's not. Do we only got to talk about men? Probably, probably, right? So, you know, like I said, if y'all are y'all talking sports? Are y'all talking cars? Are y'all talking about the future? Space travel and technology and all this other? Are you? Well, if you're not, then you're talking about men, right? The only time women are not talking about men is when they're gossiping about another chick or about a coworker. Let me tell you about what my coworker sitter did. And if the coworker is a man, then guess what? You're talking about men again. Because eventually it's gonna get down to, well, he act like a this. And if you didn't know, you would have thought he was a that. And there you go, talking about men again. Right? I get it, Yanny's annoyed because even when there's no men in the room, somehow men are in the room. I get it, Yanny. I get it. Right? You know. And so she wants to decenter men. I understand. Right? You want to decenter men, but you still go out and you still flirt with them and you still have conversations with men because you want the attention. As I said before, you want to decenter men. That doesn't mean that you want men to decenter women, and you definitely don't want the men you want to decenter you, to not find you attractive. Right? And Toya says, I don't get it, Mr. Z. What don't you get, Toya? With this this conversation with Yanny, I find fascinating, right? I find it fascinating that you have to make like this public announcement, and you see this with so many, right? So Paris said she wanted to start making content more on the luxury lifestyle thing. Now Yanny wants to talk about decentering men, you know? And she's like, I'm just coming to you guys and I'm being honest and I'm just, being honest with my content. And, that's a good question. And she says, decentering men accomplishes what? She's biting the hand that feeds her, essentially. Um, and she actually did say something along those lines where like she knows her content initially started with talking about men and talking about relationships, and she's still going to make content like that, but she wants to create a different series of content where she decenters men, right? And hmm, decentering men accomplishes what exactly? I think this is a lot of this also is a pride thing. I think if it's business, it's diversifying, right? You want to diversify your content. That way you can talk about other things in the future because you have already gotten your audience to understand that you have a wide breadth of things that you find interesting, right? Like I came in the door, I do talk about women, obviously, but then y'all have seen me talk about capitalism, politics. We have y'all know I like talking about cars, so I can literally start up a stream about any one of these things, right? But I think if we're not talking about the money and diversifying your content, then it does come down to pride. Pride. Why do we got to keep on talking about these bum ass dudes all the time? I'm tired of talking about these men. They're losers. Why do we keep on talking about them? I don't like. And fundamentally, let's be very clear: women like Yanny do not like men. They don't like men. They might like having sex with men. They might like flirting with men because men flirt back with them, obviously, and it makes them feel all good inside. But they don't like men, and that's okay. But there's a consequences. I mean, excuse me, there's a consequence. Hey, Toya, hey, I thought it too. I thought it too, right? Look, hey, sometimes I just want to be very clear. It's funny how so many women, we already know that black women are more LGBTQ than other groups of people in the country, including black men. And it's so interesting to see how often when men speak about their issues with women, women levy onto men, black men, that we're either LGBTQ, they either outright say it, suggest it, imply it. But so many women don't understand how LGBTQ they sound when they speak about men, particularly black women. Their contempt for men, black men in particular. They either talk around you, right? They backhand compliment you. They suggest that you're LGBTQ. They question your manhood and your masculinity, right? They try to banana neglect you like they Nixon. And sometimes it's like, well, are you? You know, you kind of flirt with some of the language and that an LGBTQ person would use. You know that, right? You kind of flirt. Your energy is giving me rainbow, right? The same thing, Eric Denman. Eric Denman says, Mr. Z, the luxury content cracks me up. There is a global financial crisis that they know nothing about. They don't care. They don't know. Some of them don't know, and the ones that do know, they don't care. They don't think it has any effect on them. This is that main character syndrome thing, right? Well, yeah, everybody else going through it, but I ain't gonna go through it, or I'm not going through it until they go through it, right? And this reminds me years, I will never be able to find this video because Dr. Umar has so much content out there. But years ago, this had to be maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even longer than that, maybe 6 years ago. Dr. Umar was on stage somewhere and he had like a Q&A thing going on. And a sister stood up and she said, and this is why I'm same sex loving, because I've been through so much with men that, and she said I wasn't born this way, but I've been through so much with men that I decided to do this with my life because I just couldn't do it with men anymore. And I by the way, I so appreciate that. First, yeah, I know a lot of people are like, well, she's saying this, she's LGBTQ because of men, and yeah, that's an issue. That is an issue. But she ain't saying she was born that way. She says she made a conscious decision. And there's other women that we've heard more and more black women. I'll give black women this. Black women are more apt to admit and to straight up say, I am same-sex loving because I couldn't make it work with men, or the type of men I want didn't want me, or too many men find me unattractive, right? Where I don't know if you will find as many white women to be that upfront, or Latina or Asian women, whichever rest of them are LGBTQ. But at least from my experience, I'm not saying all, I'm not even saying most, but from my experience, both in person and online, I find that the black women are just a little bit more apt to just say like I'm this way because I've had horrible experiences with men, and it's not on some SA stuff. We'll say it's not about being SA or being SA as a child. No, they'll tell you like I haven't had great experiences with men, or I'm seen as unattractive by too many men, and I still want to be in a relationship. I still want to be loved. I still want to be whatever. And as oh god, I gotta use the lefty word. As problematic as some of that is, and some of what they're saying is, what's unproblematic is the fact that they are admitting that they made a conscious decision, right? So there's that too. You know. Let me see what else I have. What other notes I have? Was I had a couple of notes about this. Oh, when Yanny speaks about having a man's baby and she acts like she's gonna barf, right? Once again, pride talking, and this is, but once again, Yanny, like I was telling you before, that's the Mouse Utopia project. Go look up the Mouse Utopia experiment. by Calhoun. Um, and you will see that what you're saying and doing is not unique. There's been experiments about this. You're like I said, because it's personal to us, we think like we're this kind of exception, and we're thinking our way through these things, and like no, it's predictable. Actually, it's very predictable, right? Especially for your situation. You were a woman, or at least a girl, who you felt that so many men didn't find, or boys didn't find you attractive. As a young adult, you felt that so many men didn't find you attractive. You lost some weight. Now some of the brothers are checking for you, but you still have contempt for them. You might even have more contempt for them now than you did before. And you're making some good money. You're part of the top 10% of income earners in the country. So in many ways, you have out earned not just black women, but the majority of Americans. If you're in the top 10%, you have out earned other black women, black men for the most part, white men, Latino men. So you're in a very elite position financially, at least. Then you have a certain look that many men find attractive. So you barfing at the idea of having a man's child at this stage of your life, that's not, there's nothing necessarily surprising about that. It's not surprising. The Mouse Utopia experiment predicted you, right? The she economy predicted you. Mr. Z has predicted you, right? Women get a certain age and they feel mad because the type of outlook they want from their life ain't going on, so they put their vagina on ice, and that's their way of throwing an adult temper tantrum. I said it before. I've said it multiple times. I've been saying it for years online, and I've been saying it for even longer offline. Right? Yanny, it's kind of, and I don't mean that to be insulting. I really no, like seriously, because sometimes you say that and people are like, oh, he's gonna be insulting. No, I actually don't mean that to be insulting. I gotta preface my statement by saying that much of what you're going through and you're saying and the way you're acting is predictable. For a woman in your particular position, it's a woman in your position in the 21st century, what you're saying is extremely predictable. As a matter of fact, I remember watching a mini doc about, was it women in China, accomplished women in China, and they sounded just like Yanny, right? Very accomplished women in China, and they sounded just like Yanny. Now you have to read through the translation, right? Sounded just like Yanny. They're out having their brunch together in some nice, high-rise restaurant, and they're asking, the interviewer is asking them about men and relationships and their careers, and they sound just like Yanny. Yanny, it's predictable. What you're saying and doing and how you're comporting yourself, once again, as a woman in your particular position, is predictable. It's not unique to you. The decentering men, as much as you think it's not, that concept is not unique to you. Women in your same kind of tax bracket, single in this era of their life, y'all sound the same globally. Europe, Canada, developed countries in East Asia, y'all all sound the same, right? Getting sex for men is very easy. That's nothing. Didn't Chrissy just tell us something along those lines a couple months ago? Right? Getting black men is easy. They're just insufferable after you get them. But y'all all sound the same. You talking about we sound the same. Look, these are the people that call men predictable, by the way. Right? These are the people that call men predictable. Men are predictable, but once men put women in the position to do for themselves if they want to, right? To be a six-figure person with your own bank account, and like Yanny's situation, you got you a nice beamer, you got you a nice, place of your own, and you have contempt for men and you want to decenter men. And let's be very clear, Yanny. You have contempt for men. No, I don't. You have contempt for men. Men in general, black men specifically. You have contempt for men. And any man worth his salt, whether he earns as much as you or not, once he smells that contempt, he's out of there. Now, he might still want to smash, and he might try to smash, but he's already got mentally, he's already checked out. And once he smashed a couple of times, he's gonna be physically, he'll be gone too. Right. And by the way, if Mr. Z was king of the universe, I wouldn't do anything with the women like Yanny. I am perfectly okay with them decentering men, right? Like Roger says, um, you got to be held accountable for what you believe in. I'm perfectly okay with them, um, um, and I'm actually not okay with them doing this, but I wouldn't change it. With them speaking on YouTube and on the interwebs and on social media, and so many young women listening to them. Hey, so be it. Because if you can't see how Yanny is coming off just a little, just a smidge, just a little bit unhinged, she's talking about she taking therapy. Okay. Let me say this. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Thank you button for the replay squad. Is it just me? And this is a question to everyone listening, men and women. I know I got like two women listening. Shout out to Toya. Right? Um, is it just me, or does it seem like when these people go to therapy, particularly the women go to therapy, they sound crazier? Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Right? And I say crazier, and maybe that's the wrong word to use for this part of the conversation. So something doesn't sound right, right? It for her to say, therapy led me to thinking this or believing this or feeling this, something along the lines that Yanny said, and I'm like, all these women say they're in therapy, and they sound and maybe it could be me, right? That I'm making space for the fact that it could be me, right? But so many of these women are saying they're in therapy, and I'm like, you're in wait wait a minute, you're in therapy. Holy crap, you're in therapy and you sound like that. Wow. If you're in therapy and you sound like that, I, I mean, for some of these people, we don't know when they started therapy or whatever, but sometimes, at least for me, it sounds like they sound worse post therapy than they did before, or while they're in therapy, mid therapy. If this is something they're doing once a week, twice a week, I don't know, but for Yanny to say she's in therapy, y'all just check out her facial expressions, listen to what she's saying, listen to how she's saying it. And yes, some of that could be put on for the camera, and maybe some exaggerated facial expressions she makes for the camera. I know a lot of her subscribers like those kind of extra sassy, kind of very just she's very expressive with her face and whatnot. But if if this is you while you're going through therapy, oh my God. And once again, I'm just one man. I don't know what other brothers are willing to put up with, or other men in general. And maybe that's That's what's best for Yanny. You know, I'm just one black man. I can't speak necessarily for other black men, but I don't. Maybe it would be best if Yanny dated out. Maybe there are some white men that would find that very attractive, or Latino men, that would not just find her physically attractive, but the way she speaks and comport herself, and the fact that she wants to decenter men, and she wants to be right, selfish and self-centered, and they they actually like that, and and you never know. Maybe in you know 5 years we'll hear that Yenny's married to some Latino dude or white dude in Texas, and she's in the burb somewhere in some gated community within a gated community, and she has her mixed kids, and et cetera, et cetera. Wow, that therapy one, that out of everything Yenny said, that was the one that, like, I was like, wait, therapy. Yeah. And I feel like she said that before, but I'm like, therapy. You're in therapy? God. Whew. All right. What therapy looks like. Second, y'all. I think my YouTube is going. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. It's paused. All right. Oh, women in Yanni's position are in her position, if that makes any sense. The ones that, and that's why I brought up the documentary that I watched, and they were interviewing a couple of Chinese women that were saying some similar things to Yanni. Um, there's nothing wrong with Yanni decentering men if she feels like that's what she needs to do. Um, there will be consequences for that. And when I say consequences, once again, I mean the word consequence as a neutral term. There will be something on the other side of that, right? And and Yana Bean, I'll say that's your name, and she says, "I'm a fan of Yanni. As a woman, she is correct. All our lives revolve around men, relationships, looks, and kids. We need to reinvent ourselves." Well, Yana Bean, I would like I said before, I would like for you to look up the She Economy, number one. She Economy, written by Morgan Stanley. It's a memo they put out. Look that up. Um, go on YouTube, look up the Mouse Utopia experiment or the Mouse Utopia project, and see for yourself. What you're saying and what Yanni is saying is predictable. We have people that have predicted where you and Yanni would be going back literal decades. And with the She Economy, they predicted that 40 some odd percent of women would be single between 2018 to 2030. And this memo came out, or it leaked, or whatever, it came out somewhere around 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. When you say, um, decenter men, and women, spend too much of their time with thinking about men and kids. How is this supposed to work? Is the question. If you want to be a mother one day and you care to be a wife, now if you don't care to be a wife or a mother, fine, right? But if you care to be a mother and a wife one day, right? How is decentering men supposed to work for you in a relationship? Or do you think you could turn that on and off? You think you could not practice caring about men and caring about children, and then one day flick the switch and then everything works perfectly, right? Because we talk about exercising, right? We talk about physical exercising. Well, Being a good partner, you have to exercise that too. That's what the whole dating process is, right? That's why you see we give little girls dolls and teacup sets because you're training her, you're exercising her to be a mother one day, to be a wife one day. Now, once again, if you don't care about that, then that's perfectly okay. If you don't care to be a wife, you don't care to be a mother, you actually, plan on being single forever, or maybe being married in your 40s or 50s when you can't even have children. That's perfectly okay. But what is decentering men? How does that work for, okay, fine, let's not talk about you necessarily. The women that want to be married and have children one day, how is decentering men? How does that work for them? Right? Because what we hear is a lot, this is a lot of pride talking, this is a lot of ego, not even pride, wrong word. This is ego talking. This is women's ego talking. Particularly the women that are financially at a certain level, right? That's why I said it's very predictable and understandable why Yanny sounds the way she does. What Yanny is essentially saying is, I am the man. Right? And she said, what am I saying? She did say it. She's tired of all these femininity coaches. Yanny, how did I forget to put that in my notes? She did say that. What Yanny is saying is, I earn as much as a man and a woman put together. I earn more than men and women put together. Yana Bean, if you don't know, the median household income right now is about $70,000 a year. 67, $70,000 a year. Yanny is probably well into the six figures somewhere. So what Yanny is saying is, I don't need no man. I earn as much as me and a man in a normal situation. And that's okay, right? Yanny can say that. But what about all the sisters that earn 40 or less, 50 or less, which is the vast majority of women in America, generally speaking, and black women specifically? What is decentering men as a woman that earns $40,000 a year? What does that actually do for you? Right? See, it's even somewhat understandable, although we can see, yeah, I said this a few months ago. Didn't I say, like, was I talking about, yeah, I think I was talking about Yanny. When I was like, financially you can afford to be without a man. I don't know about mentally. Well, Yanny can afford financially not to be without a man, to decenter men. What about all the sisters, let's be honest, that's living at home with your parents or with an older sibling and you earning $40,000 a year? Can you afford to decenter men? Right? Yana Bean says, what have we gained from spending our whole lives focusing on men, relationships, and kid? Trauma, turmoil, hard work, disrespect, then the grave. Okay, let's get into that. Let's get into that. Have women over the past 40, 50 years spent their whole entire time worried about men and kids? I didn't say 200 years ago. I didn't say a millennia ago. Over the past 50 years, that's what women have been doing, focusing on men and kids. That's why that divorce rate is so high, right? That's why that marriage rate in the black community went through the damn floor into the basement and buried itself into the core of the earth, right? And by the way, you still didn't answer my question. Women that earn $40,000 a year or less, what is decentering men going to do for them? Right? And when you say focusing, women have focused on work. I don't see them complaining about that yet. Those white execs don't give a F about you. I still don't see y'all complain about that. When they get ready to fire you, it don't matter how many years you put in, how many hours you put in, they fire you, you eat that. Huh. Oh, I get it. We don't want to center men, black men, let's be very clear. We don't want to center black men in relationship. We don't want to center black children in relationship, but we're centered on white man and his corporation, even though he fired us like that, and now we got to go start an LLC and then fake brag about, oh, we're the number one, we're the fastest growing business owners. Yeah, because them white guys are firing y'all or letting y'all go because automation is eating at y'all jobs. That part too. So we don't want to center men. Pause. We don't want to center black men, but we center the white exec. We center the white CFO. We center the white CEO. Huh. We center the white HR manager. All the people that let us go like that. But we don't want to center black children and black men. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just, I'm just, I get it, Yana Bean. I get it. But as I said, you're saying that. Once again, go look up Mouse Utopia. You can either put experiment or project, and it's gonna bring up the same thing. Mouse Utopia or you could put behavioral sync. Right? Either way. Hey, Yana Bean, I just gave you the answer. And Yana Bean says women want to focus on something else. They obviously aren't happy being wives or mothers. They are learning it's more trouble than it's worth. Hey, like I said, Mouse Utopia project. Um, you could put Mouse Utopia project, Mouse Utopia experiment. You could put behavioral sync. All of those will give you the same type of and this is not something you necessarily have to read. Just go through the videos on YouTube. Most of them are like 20 minutes or less long, and they will show you that what you're saying is supremely predictable. Right? And better you, that's a very good question. How old are you, if you don't mind us asking? Right? And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super. This is important. Right? I'm glad that we're having this conversation with Yana Bean, you know, and I would be okay with having this conversation, right? If you don't want to say, but you do realize that you live on a planet with men. I want you to consider, if men thought the same way, where would women be right now? You know what? We don't even got to go in the past. If men started thinking the same way today, where would women be in a year, in 5 years? If black men, because y'all keep on claiming that black men don't care. All right, let's put that to the test. If black men sounded the way you and Yanny sound right now, and they meant it, where would black women be in a year, in 5 years? Right? I love it. City yes, wherever y'all at, she said it. Ed, but she said is knew they thought like this, but now she said it. Y'all built the world. Thank you. Now y'all can get on. Get out of my face. Thank you for building the world, right? And for black men to be like, thank you for World War I and World War II and being the primary group of men that got hung. And yeah, thank you for all of that, right? Thank you for 33% of y'all being convicted felons because America needs somebody for the rest of the world to look down on. Thank you, black men. Thank you for your labor and your sacrifice and your death, right? Thank you for your blood being the fuel for BLM and all that other stuff. Thank you very much. But your services are no longer needed. Pack up, get the hell out of here. Thank you, Yadamin. Hey, they don't owe men anything. Hey, you hear it? You hear it, right? What Mr. Z tell y'all all the time? Don't say it. What I tell y'all all the time. Hey, right? And I love it. I love it. Right? I love it because so many, and this is a response to Jason Black. See, the brother Jason Black think that if you just earn so much money and you become like an ultra mega zillionaire, then these women will fall in line. Yana Bean and the real talk with Yannies of the world, they told you, yeah, no, as long as I make enough, screw y'all. What and where everybody talking about men being minimalist and being self-reliant. Women are like, yeah, we could play that game too. Ain't that right, Yana Bean? Right? Right? And this is Yana Bean. She giving up the game right here. And this is why conservative brothers are conservative. You live here too. Can't just build a street for you. We all use it. And that's why when you hear especially white conservative men want to cut all the social programs, that's why. When you see them say they want to cut taxes and they want to privatize just about everything in the world, that's why. Because of women like Yana Bean. Because what they're saying is, oh, you know what we're not going to have happen? We're not going to have a bunch of ungrateful a-hole women who tell us they don't need us drive on the same road when we're all paying taxes, but I'm paying way more in taxes than she is. She's putting in $2, $3, $5, and I'm putting in $200. And then she's gonna turn around and tell me how much she don't need me, and we need a decenterman. Yeah, how about we privatize everything? You know what? I'm gonna go live in this nice part of the city, right? I'm gonna go live in a gated community within a gated community, and all my tax dollars are gonna go to this privately funded police department, this privately funded fire station. All the restaurants around me are gonna be mom and pop shops, or they're gonna be franchise, right? So the McDonald's will be franchised, the Chipotle will be franchised, et cetera, et cetera. The Starbucks will be franchised because I don't want my tax dollars going to women like, wait a minute, white flight, and there you go. Right? If you want to know why the white conservatives sound the way they do, Yana Bean just told you. That's why they sound the way they do. Pay taxes for who? Right? Social programs for who? Right? Free healthcare, and it's not really free. Free healthcare for who? Free college for who? The reason they sound the way they do is because of the Yana Beans. Right? And Will AR says when Westernism falls, these nonsensical male versus female conversations will go away. Thank God when that day happens. I actually don't thank God for that day. Look, I like having internet. I hear you, Will AR, but I like having internet. Right? And I like that we have medicine and we have cars, right? And stuff like that. Those accommodations and technological marvels I actually like having, right? And I like having them more than wanting to see what Yana Bean and Yanny look like when their backs are against the wall when we're living in goddamn Armageddon or what's the movie I'm thinking about? The one based in Australia. Y'all know what movie I'm talking about. God damn. It's like a post-apocalyptic movie series. God, it's right there. They've been making the goddamn movie series for like 30 years. God damn, y'all know what I'm talking about. God, somebody's gonna say in the comments. Mr. Z forgot the name of it. Not Terminator, not Terminator, you guys. Uh, they do the makeshift cars. Um, jeez, I forgot the name. Anyway, yeah, I forgot the name of it. Mad Max, thank you, y'all. Mad Max, Jesus Christ, thank you. All three of y'all Mad Max comments came in at the same time. Mad Max, thank you, y'all. Jeez, why couldn't I get that out? But yeah, Yana Bean, yeah, I don't want to see your back to the wall in a Mad Max situation. I don't want to see Yanny's back to the wall in a Mad Max situation. But yeah, y'all, it's predictable. Like I said, go look up Behavioral Sync or Mouse Utopia Project or Mouse Utopia Experiment and see how predictable you sound. Right? And also look up on Google She Economy Morgan Stanley. Right? And Will AR also says it won't be that extreme. The US will just be another country like Brazil. And those women can't take that. They don't even know how much of their life is based off of the petrodollar. Right? And the fact that the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. How much cheaper things or how much more expensive things could be or would be or will be when the US dollar is no longer the reserve currency of the world. They're feeling the effects of stagflation now. Meanwhile, they talking crazy. Yana Bean, I want you to understand how much of your life is built off of a very thin veil of security slash where the US is positioned currently. And all it takes, like Will AR said, it don't got to be extreme. All it takes is for the US to just not be have the reserve currency anymore, or for more oil producing countries to use different currencies instead of the US dollar, particularly Saudi Arabia. You have no idea how much of your life is based off of the luxury that's afforded to you because of how the US is positioned and how tenuous that position is. Right? The only reason why TVs are so cheap, right? Or clothes are so cheap. Y'all could go to Forever 21 or whatever little fast fashion place and go buy a t-shirt for $12. Right? Or go buy some leather or pleather skirt for $20, $25. You have no idea how much of that is based off of the US military, the petrodollar, the US dollar being the reserve currency. Yeah. And Yana Bean says, how many make prostitutes are on the streets versus women? I guess male prostitutes or men prostitutes. I think you were trying to say. We will never have to pay for sex. Yeah, the Japanese women thought that same thing too at once upon a time. Yikes. Yeah, yeah. The Japanese men are paying for cuddle cafes, and the Japanese women are paying for the boyfriend experience. Be careful what you say, Yana Bean. You have no idea how crazy this could get. Be careful. Be careful what you say, Yana Bean. I don't know what world you think you living on. Be careful what you say. Yeah, Anubis, we know. And Anubis says she's trolling, let her and her pets go. Right? No, but we can engage in the conversation. I don't know what world she thinks she living on. Especially Yana Bean, if you're a woman that's earning enough and you're a black woman, Yanny is lightweight. The way Yanny sounds now is lightweight. You know how crazy y'all gonna sound as more and more y'all earn enough money, and then y'all single as hell, and y'all don't got no children. All right, be careful what you saying. You gotta be you viewing things off of the way the world is now. Oh, not even the world. You viewing things off of the way America is now, right? Yeah, exactly, Anubis. Big women pay like they weigh all the time, and it's like it's so interesting to hear black women talk like this. Like let me explain to y'all something. Your heavyset auntie, you know, the one that keep on buying her dudes PlayStations and putting rims on her dudes cars and stuff like that, and you're like, why she's such a good person, and why she spending all this money on these men? Because she paying how she weigh, right? And by the way, that's not even exclusive to the heavy set sisters or maybe even the unattractive sisters. Claudia Jordan was paying for attractive dudes. Claudia Jordan, when she was younger, we're not even talking about Claudia Jordan now. When Claudia Jordan was younger, she was paying for attractive dudes. Right? Huh. Which we do y'all need me to bring up Taraji and why she sound the way she sound right now? Yana Bean, you want to have that conversation about Maya marrying herself? About the twin, was it Tia, over here thirst trapping after she divorced her husband? You want to have that conversation? Y'all not gonna pay for sex. uh yeah, that's it. Right? You want to talk about Tracy Ellis Ross right now? Yana Bean, you have a whole generation. We're not even gonna talk about the boomers. Let's talk about the extra. I have a video, but I have a couple of video about extra celebrity women and how they sound right now and how they looking right now. Right? Yana Bean, you want to have that conversation? See, you ain't posting no comments right now. Why you not posting no comments? Oh, there you go. Okay, there you go. And she said, and we're supposed to choose to be under you. You don't have to be under anyone. That's the beauty of living in America. You don't have to choose to be under anyone. You could be independent like you're talking about right now. You can do your own independent thing. It just comes at a cost. If you don't believe me, go ask Tracy Ellis Ross. If you don't believe me, go ask Taraji P. Henson. If you don't believe me, go ask Maya. I'm just saying. You can do your own thing, right? You can do your own thing. No one's telling you you can't. If you don't believe me, go ask Vivica A. Fox, right? Go ask Lisa Ray. Huh. I got one better. Go ask Ebony K. Williams. God damn, Mr. Z. Right? You could do your own thing. But there's these. Go ask Wendy Williams. Go ask Nicki Minaj. Go ask them. Y'all were mocking Nicki Minaj when she married her dude. Yeah, we understand he got a very shady past. We get it. But she told you why she got married and why she married him. And Wendy Williams backed her up. Go ask them about that independent thing and not being under a man. Yeah, go ask them. Wait, didn't Wendy Williams get back with her husband? Go ask her why. Uh-oh. And by the way, these are rich, famous women that can have any man, right? Isn't that what y'all say? I ain't gonna do struggle love. I ain't gonna do if a man do this. Yeah, that sound nice. What happened? Why all these women look and sound the way they do? The ones that's married holding on to their marriage for dear life, and the ones that's not married looking like Vivica A. Fox and Tracy Ellis Ross and Taraji P. Henson. Uh-oh. So you and Yanny could keep on talking about decentering men. You know who else did that? Vivica A. Fox, how she looking right now? Maya, how she looking right now? Tracy Ellis Ross, how she looking right now? All right. And once again, these are super rich, famous women. See, it sound nice when you looking through the world, looking at the world through a straw. When you being myopic, all that sound nice. What you talking about? It sound real nice. All right, right. And G says they feel it already, Zoe. I just smashed a 25-year-old last night, and this is G, right? I think it's G. And G says they feel it already, Zoe. I just smashed a 25-year-old last night who was begging for a relationship, talking about she loved me and I don't love her back. You know, we're living through, and a brother said in the comments earlier, we're living through stagflation and they talking crazy. Y'all talking about decentering men while we're living in the middle of stagflation. I don't know, ladies. I don't know. That's your at least to Mr. Z. I'm not gonna speak for other brothers. I'm not gonna speak for other men in general. At least for Mr. Z, that's your ego speaking, and you have every right to be that to for your ego to be speaking, right? You have every right. But once again, there's something on the other side of that equal sign. There's something on the other side of that equal sign. You know. And Big Kev says, like what Shahrazad Ali said, the reason why they encourage black women to talk greasy about black men, especially under feminist ideology, is precisely because it's hateful and divisive. Hey, Big Kev, it's okay. Let them talk, right? Let them talk. You see what Yana Bean said. Yana Bean pretty much said, "Y'all built the world. Thank you very much. Now get the hell on." Right? She was in her Ebony K. Williams bag. Bus driver, right? Drake, right? Drake. For some of my old heads that don't know, it's an interview of Soldier Boy on the Breakfast Club, and I don't remember who mentioned Drake. One of the either Charlemagne or whatever of them mentioned Drake, and what people didn't remember is that Drake used a part of one of his songs. He used a part, or he used some of the lyrics from a Soldier Boy song, and so Soldier Boy was trying to say like Drake. Y'all compare me to Drake. He using my stuff, right? And it's the way he said Drake. And so for a couple years after that, whenever somebody want to say what, like, what are you who? It is like Drake. So like right now, I'm just like Drake, right? Yeah. Bus driver. Oh, so Yana Bean is in her Ebony K. Williams bag, right? Men, men. Who needs men? They built the world already. Thank you very much. Now get on. Get the f out of here. Era of Soldier Boy was different, right? He said Drake. Oh man, absolutely hysterical. Wait, y'all can't hear me? Yes, maybe, Oh, wow. So you guys couldn't hear me for a while. Wow. My apologies, everyone. And I was talking. Oh, he said it went for a few seconds. And my apologies. My apologies. But yeah, no, I was just continuing on with what I was saying, and I was saying that Yana Bean was like, men, men, who needs men? Y'all built the world already. Thank you very much. Now get the F on. Right? And it's good that they're saying it. By the way, Yana Bean is not the first. I've heard you know who says that more? White women. The white feminists, not just white women in general, but like white feminists, the lightweight ones, all the way to the heavy ones. And I don't mean like that by weight, but like lightweight white feminists, all the way to the ones that's like all the way LGBTQ white feminists. They're the ones who say stuff like that. Like, thank you for building the world. Now we don't need you, and we're out. Right? And by the way, nothing wrong with that. But they never consider what it means if men move accordingly. They never consider what about if men say, all right, bet. You know what that all right bet means? Right? That's not something you want to hear, all right bet. Right? It's like the person that a bully that punches you, but then when you hit them back, they're like, oh, right? Right? But that was a good conversation, Yana Bean. You might still be listening in, but not putting no comments. Hey, there's nothing wrong with you and Yanny feeling like we're gonna decenter men, screw men. What have centering men got us? Hey, nothing wrong with that. But all right, right. And see what G said. G said, "Zoe, it's so many single beautiful women of all races that men are having a field date, bro. The men that women want are running through them. They're run. Even some of us like brothers that's like a notch down, maybe even two notches down. We having fun too. But definitely that top 10% brother. Oh man, and that was just top 10% man, right? I told y'all about the white dude that I used to work with at the law office, the attorney. Dude was running through all of them. White, black woman, Asian woman, like well, not Asian. I don't remember him smashing an Asian, but white, black, Latina, running through them, right? All right, you know. All right, yeah, yeah, y'all talking right. This is why I love the internet. That's what I told y'all. The internet will expose us all and let them talk. And what Yana Bean came in here and did, she laid it out flat. She let y'all know. And yeah, she was trolling. Of course she would, but she said what needed to be said. She said what needed to be said. She backed up a lot of what all the brothers in this space have been saying, including yours truly, right? All right, man. Hey, that struggle's real. That's it's interesting. Like I said, we're living through stagflation, y'all. I see this as like the beginning of like or the another level of acceleration, I should say better yet, because I don't want BGS to be like it's not the beginning, right? But another level of acceleration of automation just snatching all the jobs off the goddamn table. Especially like software for those of you that work in offices and cubes, there's certain things that like obviously it can't do yet, right? But like they're gonna have to figure out something to do with us as people, as human beings in general. But Toya, you probably gonna be okay because you do something different with the edits and stuff like that. But everybody else, oh my god. Uh, I see that funny D Scott. I read his comment too. Okay, so let me read his comment out loud so that y'all can understand what D Scott is saying. And G says, in my city, I'm seeing mixtures of all kinds. I'm seeing brothers and the white brothers with all races from East Indian to Sudanese and everything in between. I just started talking to a Korean woman. And D Scott says, G trying to get that soul food. But he says soul, not as in soul, like soul food, black food. He says soul, like the capital of South Korea, Seoul. Right? That was funny. That was funny. These guys, the dad jokes. The dad jokes. They write themselves. It's funny. Oh man, that was a good one, D Scott. That was a good one. Oh man. But like I was saying, Yana Bean, I hear you. Right? You go do your thing. You and Yanny and her ilk, all of you Yanny fans and subscribers. I guess y'all have y'all same sex loving coven, and yeah, right. And that's what Yanny was lamenting, right? So many of her friends centering men too much. Why don't they talk about other things? She just wants to have fun and not talk about men and not worry about men and not worry about what men think and what they feel. Like I said, she said she loves not giving a F. These are her words. She wants to be selfish and self-centered. Her words, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But once again, on the other side of that equal sign, right? Yeah. And G says, nah, top 30%. G said, screw just being top 10%. G said top 30%. A man with an income, car, a crib is getting so much kitty, his Johnson probably sore. No cap. Bro, niggas turning hoes down to get some sleep. The women outside every night. Hey, Yana Bean and Yanny, you think it's only poor women? You think it's only women that's struggling? Now, of course, if you financially struggling, you're really looking for a man to come and save you from your life. But you think it's only women that can't afford anything, right? The question is, do they know something you don't know, or is it that you know something they don't know, right? Ooh, Anubis said I dated a South African Indian. She bathed me every night. Ooh, wow. This dude getting treated like Eddie Murphy off of Coming to America. Goddamn. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness. Ooh. Anubis, what you saying? Right? Right? But I look, I get it, to Yana Bean. I understand. And Mr. Z has never been the one or one of the people to doubt that women have pride also, that women have egos also, that women can be stubborn also, that women will go scorch earth and destroy everyone in their path, including themselves. I've never been the one to think that women aren't capable of doing it and that women wouldn't do it, right? I have seen women go scorch earth and say screw everything, including me, right? And when I say me, I mean them themselves, and destroy everything, including themselves. Destroy friend circles, destroy their relationships, their children, and destroy themselves. All out of anger. What clip is it? Somebody has it on their channel. Is it you, Compassion and Callous. I think Compassion and Callous might have the clip on his channel. I can't remember which show it's from. With a sister, and I think she's really a sister to the brother on the show. And they're talking, and she's like, "Everybody always talks to you. Everybody sees you. It's always about you." And he's essentially saying, like, "Are you willing to destroy everything for your ego?" Like, he didn't say those words, but that's pretty much the sentiment. And she said, "Yes." Right? For self-respect, for self, yes. Right? And if that's not black women right now, if that's not Yanny right now, if that's not Chrissy right now, right? Y'all realize that low key they be jealous of the death of George Floyd? They're jealous that a dead man is getting attention because of how gruesome his death was. You realize that's the group of people we're talking about, right? Because you know who else was talking about decentering men? BLM. Uh-oh. Y'all women want to keep on telling us y'all not LGBTQ? Because all of those founders are LGBTQ, and they were talking about decentering men, decentering straight men. And here's Yanny, who purports to be a straight woman, and who talks about she's going on a date even later on tonight, or at least that was yesterday. I think that recording came out, so she went on a date last night. Yeah, you might have went on a date with a dude, but hey, you slowly walking down that road. I told y'all, political lesbianism is real, right? Huh? I'm just saying. All of this talk sound nice. You get your sass on, right? You get to tell men how you feel. You get to go in on men, rage out, right? Oh, I forgot. Y'all are beyond that. Y'all, I'm so unbothered. I'm so now they're in the phase of like I'm so unbothered. They trying to do their fake ass Omarion, right? I don't care. I'm so unbothered by black men. Yeah, whatever. Nobody believes you. No one believes you. Now you're talking about decentering men, sounding like a whole LGBTQ squad, right? And what have centering men and kids gotten us? What? You existing. You know what centering men and kids got you? Your life. The fact that you exist and breathe on this plane, on this earth. Because if your mother thought the same thing, you wouldn't be here. And your grandmother thought the same thing, you wouldn't be here. If your great grandmother thought the same thing, you wouldn't be here. That's what centering men and children got you. You to exist. That, right? That's what it got you. It got you to exist. Right? You know what it got women to center men? Their bills paid. Going to nice restaurants. Getting that car note paid. Their man paying for them to get their hair done and their nails done and to get that wax. That's what happened. That's what centering men got you. Getting your car washed. Right? Getting that box 8 until you start to orgasm and tremor like an earthquake. That's what centering men got you. I'm just saying. Michael Ross just simplified it. Michael Ross was just like, "You mean security, Z?" Exactly. Right? And the 18th letter says, "Open, and thank you for the super chat, brother." And he says, Oprah has recently admitted the narrative that she helped perpetuate about black men being deadbeat fathers was a lie, but the damage is already done. Yeah, I saw the little clip on YouTube where she has like the little screens up around her, and she's talking to different men, and notable men too. I can't remember all the faces, but notable men, about the permeation of the deadbeat black father, right? And how like that's BS, and that she read that recent study, which is not recent because we didn't seen it. Um, about how actually black men are the most involved. Thank you for the super sorry. Thank you for the Cash App, Anubis, right? And yeah, I saw that too, the 18 letter. I saw that, right? But like you said, the damage has already been done because Oprah perpetuated that BS for decades. And Oprah perpetuated when Oprah was that famous and that influential in Hollywood and in media. And now that she's not as influential and she's not the Gen Z don't care what Oprah's saying. The young millennials don't care what Oprah's saying. Shit, the millennials don't care what Oprah's saying. So now she want to clean it up. The damage has been done. And unless Oprah is gonna go everywhere she goes, every panel she's on, everywhere they invite her, and do a mea culpa and say, "Hey, look. Much of my career was built off of throwing black men under the bus, including my role in Color Purple. Much of my career is built off of throwing black men under the bus and being a chocolate dip white racist feminist, and I messed up, and I messed up the image of black men." Or I helped to mess up the image of black men. I helped to perpetuate some of the worst negative stereotypes about black men, and I'm trying to reel that back before I pass. Before I leave this planet, I want to try to clean that up. She's not gonna be able to do it, but still, if she would at least do that, but she's not. She's not. She said this one thing, this little blink if you and you'll miss it thing, and that's probably about it. Meanwhile, her and Gail were going everywhere talking crap, right? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. Once again, 18th letter, and thank you for the super chat. Detroit, and Detroit says, Yana Bean follow you, Paris Milan, Divesta Zealot, and meanwhile Paris had beef with Divesta Zealot. She subscribed to you. I think you said two. Trying to say, are you saying they're subscribed to me? I don't know. Sometimes, like I said, it seems as if these people are responding to something I said, and yes, I do tag them, and I obviously when I share their videos in my description box, I think they know because I think when somebody shares my video in the description box, I get the notification. So I don't know if they do, but I do tag them in certain video titles. So they might know, but do they follow me? I don't know. Do they listen to the video all the way through, because obviously y'all know Mr. Z long-winded as crap, and there's certain things that I say if you miss it, then you miss much of the context of what I was saying. So do they follow me? I don't know. Um, does it matter if they follow me? Yes and no. But yeah. D Scott said Yoni Biscuit is subscribed to you, Z. Maybe, maybe, right? Maybe, right? But when she speaks about decentering men, look, I get it. And you live in a country where you can decenter men. And as I was saying before, Yanny earns enough to decenter men. Yanny earns enough. Yanny does. Now, what does that mean for her mental state to decenter men? Her emotional state to decenter men? Now, those are two different conversations, right? But her subscribers, who the majority of them earn less than $50,000 a year, I know because I'm a black man and I know how much black people earn. I know how much black women earn. For her subscribers that earn 45 and 40 and 35 and 20,000 and 25,000, they're either in college, in high school, maybe they're even out of college. They're in their 20s, maybe early 30s, mid 30s. They not earning anywhere near no 55, 60. Let's say, okay, fine. Let's say they earn 50. Can they afford to decenter men? Let's say they earn 50 in a major city. Can they afford to decenter men? You earning 50 grand in LA, you can afford to decenter men? You're earning 50K in Miami, you can afford to decenter men? You're earning 50K in any borough in New York, you can afford. Can you afford to decenter men? You earning 50 in Atlanta, can you afford to decenter men? You're earning 50 in Chicago, can you afford to decenter men? That decentering men sound nice, but if you ain't living at home with your parents or with a sibling or a relative, can you afford to decenter men as a black woman in America during stagflation? Ugh, I don't know. That's a good question, Better You. And Better You says, Z, next time someone like that person comes on that tip, ask them how they transcend human nature and desire along with the need for meaningful social connections the rest of humanity would like to know. Hey, they getting their white Western man on, right? Because you know that's the goal. We already know the goal is to be with and be kind of like a white woman and a white man. So they getting they whole, the white dudes that want to live in the BFE away from everyone, right? And they're like, I don't care what other people think, and I like being by my neighbor lives. Oh crap, the phone is doing its own thing again. Give me a second, everyone. Give me a second. Let me. Yeah, okay. The phone did its own thing for a second. I'm gonna have to turn this thing off and turn it back on in a minute. So we're gonna do our closings in a minute. But yeah, the white guys that are like, yeah, I like living on my own and I like living away from people and I like my neighbor is 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 miles that way, right? Yeah. So yeah. So they're getting their white man on. I hear you, Better You. It's okay. Let these people talk. I promise you they don't know what they're talking about. I promise you they don't know what they're talking about. Right? You see what I'm saying? D Scott said can't afford to breathe in Harlem making 50K, but yet I know how much black people earn, how much black women are earning, on average, at least on average, right? And y'all talking reckless during stagflation when the majority of y'all don't even earn $50,000 a year. Only 20% of black people earn 50 and above. And y'all talking crazy. All right. And NM Hawkins, we got another sister in here that says, does it really matter if women decenter when black men are not willing to help black men financially? No, black men are not willing to help any woman that's not theirs financially. See, this whole community eunuch, shout out to Obsidian thing that y'all got going on is never gonna be a thing. And not just in the black community, anywhere. This I want to be single by myself, do my own thing, but men in general that are part of this society are supposed to fund me and my single life. Yeah, that's not a thing. That's never going to be a thing. By the way, that's what I was saying earlier. This is why Republicans and conservatives are the way they are. Because N.M. Hawkins, they know that many women think the way you do, and many people in general think the way you do. I want to do my own thing. I want to be free. I want to be free from men. I don't want to care what men think. I want to decenter men, but yet I want men to fund my life. Wait, you want men to fund you for you to give them the middle finger? What? You want men to fund you so you could give them the middle finger and tell them how much you don't care about them, you're decentering them, and for them to go F off somewhere. What? Right? So your individual man not helping you financially, now that's a different conversation. Because Mr. Z's girl can't say that. Mr. Z's woman cannot say that. And I would argue most of the brothers, the vast majority, if not all the brothers part of the black manosphere, at least the black manosphere parts that I occupy, none of they women can say that either. So if you have an individual issue with your individual man, that's you and your individual man. But men in general, black men specifically, funding women in general, black women specifically, right? Just because, so so y'all could also stick the middle finger at us? Yeah, no. Right? And Will AR says simps are still funding women on OnlyFans, and thank you for the super chat, brother. Right? And Detroit, by the way, if I didn't say it earlier, thank you for the super chat. Yeah. And let's go back to Will AR says simps are still funding women on OnlyFans, though. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. They are. Right? They are. And NM Hawkins says, I'm an individual. Okay, comment went up some. And NM Hawkins says, meant individual men in romantic relationships. Well, where are those individual men? What individual men are you speaking about? I need names. Right? And everybody's like, that's a swirler you're talking. That's okay if she swirls. It's okay. Right? It's okay if she's a swirler. That's cool. Then she got to tell me where are the white men doing that outside of taxes, which we're forced to pay. Where are the white men who said, "I know I'm gonna"? Individual white man that looks at an individual white woman and says, "Don't worry, you don't have to give me the vagina. You don't have to cuddle with me. You don't have to speak kind words to me, right? You don't have to have my children. I'm gonna fund you just off a GP." Where's the white man doing that? Where's the Latino man doing that? Where's the Asian man doing that? Where's the indigenous man doing that? Where's the Arab man doing that? Where are the men? Where's the African man pointing at a woman and saying, you, a woman from his own race, his own ethnicity, right? His own tribe, and saying, you, don't worry, you don't have to do anything for me or give me anything. I'm going to fund you financially just because. Now, you said you're speaking about I meant individual men in romantic relationships. Once again, I need names of men that don't do anything for their spouse at all. Don't put the lug nuts on the wheels. Don't change a battery. Don't wash the car. Don't mow the lawn. Don't sweep. Don't wash any dishes. When they have sex, he get his and he jump out the bed and be like, well, I guess that's it. I need you to tell me the men that are not doing anything. Don't give a dollar towards any bills. Where are the men that you say that are doing apps? I mean, he's just there. He's literally there, just taking up space and breathing. Because it's interesting, the same people that want to be paid for their home labor also are speaking about financially. That's the reason why I talked about washing the car and mowing the lawn and washing the dishes. Because remember, women are trying to. There's a certain amount of women that want to get paid for the domestic labor, right? So I'm speaking about men that are also doing domestic labor. So maybe he's not contributing financially, but he's doing domestic labor to make up for it. Or he's doing a mixture of the two, which is what most men, I would argue, especially in Black America, do. They give money and they also do chores around the house. You know who do chores around the house more than any other group of men? Black men. According to the data. Right? So N.M. Hawkins, I'm just saying. And Leon says, and thank you for the super chat, Leon. Leon says, independent neoliberal socialists be black women's. You see what I'm saying? Just a bunch of contradictory BS. And N.M. Hawkins says, and thank you for the super chat, Leon. We're gonna leave that up for a little bit. And she says black women who marry black men who don't have jobs, for example. You mean black women who knowingly marry black men without jobs is our problem because why? So she knows the social and the power dynamic that she signed up for, and that's the rest of our problem because why? So you're not trying to tell me that he had a kick-ass job and he paying all the bills, and then they got married and he quit his job and became a house husband on her ass. That's not what you're saying. You're saying she married him knowing he didn't have a job, and this is our problem because why? So she knew the dynamic, she signed up for it, and this is my problem and your problem because, right? Are you telling me you're getting secondhand cringe from this? Right? And that's our problem? It's our problem because you're getting secondhand cringe because some black woman signed up to being married to some black man without a job, right? And by the way, let me burst this bubble for you, Enim Hawkins. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing, by the way. Oh yeah, oh, let me hurt some sisters' feelings in here real quick. Yeah, I said this before when I addressed Yanny a couple weeks ago or a week ago. What did you think came with equality? Yes, some women are going to have house husbands. That includes some black women. Yeah, that, by the way, and I'm not saying that to be funny or to mock women. That's what comes with equality. So you're telling me that a black woman signed up for her being the provider and that's making you feel a certain way? How do you know she's not one of the people that's like, hey, I earn $90,000, 100, 120, and I'm the one who has the better career path, the better career, I'm in the better career field. So yeah, go ahead and stay home. You take care of the kids. All right, we'll be good. Right? Do you know this person you're using as an example? Right? By the way, this is what comes with equality. If women are in the workforce and they can get jobs just as well as men, actually better than men, and I'm not just saying black men, better than men, because the workforce finds them to be more pliable, easier to work with. When they fire your ass, they know you ain't gonna break anything, right? They're not physically intimidated by you or other women. Fine. If the work environment brings you on and they pay you 120 over me 120, you're in the better career field. It would cost more if we do the math, and it would cost more for me to put gas in the car, drive 40 miles to work, right? My lunch break and all that other stuff, all of that would cost more. So we decide, you know what, babe, you're in the better career field. You're earning, or you have the potential to earn 130 a year, 140 a year, my little $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year. By the time we do all the math, all the subtractions, I'm only really bringing home 820, 15. You know what? It'll be better if I'm a stay-at-home dad. And you're like, yeah, fine. Enim Hawkins is cringing at that, and that's a problem? Because Enim Hawkins is cringing, that's a problem, right? Do y'all want equality or don't y'all? That's a real question, Enim Hawkins. Do you want equality or don't you? And if you want equality, do you know what really comes with it? We're not talking about all the feel good stuff, because what comes with equality is that women will be in the workforce. Sometimes women will be in the workforce and their husbands won't be. Or women will have the career that affords them six figures and their husbands won't. And so the woman will be making 120 and the husband will be making 50. The woman will be making 100, 90, 85, and the husband will be making 50, 55, 60. That's what comes with a free and open society, N.M. Hawkins, right? That's what comes with a free and open society. That's what comes with women's suffrage and feminism and female empowerment, women empowerment. Ah, equality does not mean switching gender roles. What planet do you live on? How do you have gender roles in an equal society? Do you understand what that would mean? That there's a ceiling for you as a woman. No, sorry, Miss N.M. Hawkins, we can't pay you that much because we got to reserve that for men. Because he's going to be a husband one day, we got to pay him more than we pay you. Because you're just a wife. Your income won't be the main income. Did you think about what you said before you said it? So what you're saying is we need to stagnate women. I thought that's what feminism was fighting against. Thank you, Charles Irby. There aren't gender roles in an egalitarian society. So once again, Miss N.M. Hawkins, do y'all want equality, egalitarian system, or don't you? Do you want an egalitarian system or don't you? Because what comes with a free, equal, egalitarian system is that the better person for the job. And so if we're both going for the HR position and our boss says, you know what, Adam Hawkins has a softer voice. Both of y'all both have the same academic accomplishments, but we just like the way Adam Hawkins presents things better. We're gonna hire her. She gets the position. And now N.M. Hawkins says, okay, fine. Now all of you men are not on my level and I'm never getting married and I don't want to have children because I have this position now. What? And I only want to date men above me. You look above you, 10 dudes above you, and half of them are already married. So it's really 5 dudes above you. And then 2 of them don't find you attractive. So it's really 3 men above you. And then the 3 that's married, that's above you, that's single, one of them is racist as hell. So it's really 2 men above you. And those dudes are players. Now what? N.M. Hawkins, men have to compete with both women and men. Yes, N.M. That's what we're trying to tell you. Women also have to compete against men and women in the workforce in this society. You know what that means? That means that's equality. That's an egalitarian system. That means that those gender roles gone. Oh wait, let me get this right. You don't want gender roles for the workforce. You know where you spend 8+ hours a day, right? You don't want there to be gender roles when we're going out for this job, when you're going for that promotion, when you're going to get a car, when you're going to get a bank loan, right? You don't want gender roles to apply then, but you do want gender roles once you open the door and walk into your home. How is this supposed to work? Right? How is this supposed to work? Equality doesn't mean the end of gender roles. What? That's exactly what it means. Now, you could do what the black community's been trying to do for decades and do some type of pseudo gender role thing, but kind of not, kind of sort of, kind of not. And what white society's trying to do and failing at it horribly, because black society's failing at it horribly too, because of the women. Thank you, N.M. Hawkins, for proving our point to Dr. Richard Reeves. right? This is what we've been trying to tell Dr. Richard Reeves, that it's not the men, it's the women. This is what Anne Marie Slaughter was trying to say. Once we tell women that, yeah, you want that kick ass job, you want that corner office job, well, you're probably, because this power couple thing is not a real thing. Like 0.5% of people actually live up to that, or 1% of people actually live that. It's not a thing. So most likely you're gonna have to take on a man that doesn't care about his career as much, that will be the primary caregiver if you're the primary breadwinner. And that's the point where women get off the train. And thank you very much, N.M. Hawkins, for proving our point, for proving Anne Marie Slaughter's point, and for proving our point to Dr. Richard Reeves, that it's not the men, it is the women. Thank you. Right? And if y'all want to know who Anne Marie Slaughter was, she worked for the Clinton administration back in the day. I can't remember. Was she secretary of transportation? She was secretary of one of them. It wasn't labor, because that was Robert Reich, if I'm not mistaken. Or was he just an advisor back then? I can't remember. But she was secretary of one of them, and she left the job because her children were getting older, and she wanted to be a mom as they got into their teen years. She didn't want to just focus on her career. So guess what? She allowed her husband to start focusing on his career now. Because before, she was the one focusing on her career. And so he took a back seat. Oh, wait a minute. You know who else told us that? Michelle Obama. She was in the better position career-wise. But when Barack wanted to get into politics, guess what? She slowed down on her career so that he could focus on his career. And guess what? He became president. They both couldn't do it. So Michelle Obama has said that. Anne Marie Slaughter has said that. Mr. Z has said that. BGS has said that. And yet, N.M. Hawkins is talking about equality doesn't mean in the gender roles. Okay, yeah, no, yes, it does. Right? And shout out to Passport OG. And Passport OG says, I don't see gender. With the eyes emoji. You see what I'm saying? I see Passport OG still in Japan because we still getting the yen. Right? And thank you for the super chat, brother. Thank you very much. And Mr. Shook to you, thank you. And Mr. Shook to you, Compassionate and Callous, you heard this, right? And Mr. Shook to you, y'all send this to Compassionate and Callous and timestamp it for him. Mr. Shook to you, thank you for the super chat. And he says, Mr. Z, you just broke that down perfectly. Clip it. Right? Oh, you think that matters? And N.M. Hawkins says, no, most men do not want to switch gender roles. They want to make more money than their girlfriends' wives, especially black men. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we have an equal society. Don't you? Okay, I don't understand why this is so difficult. It doesn't matter what men want if the system says this is the way it's going to be. It doesn't matter what women want if the system says this is what we want. You want to know how you know this? Why do you think the Republicans are repealing affirmative action and Roe versus Wade? What do you think that's about? Oh, white women, you're gonna have our babies. Oh yeah, you are. That's what the Republicans are saying. That's what the conservatives are saying. The white conservative men are saying, yeah, systemically, this thing was a little too open, and we're reeling this back because you're gonna have our babies. What you think you are, black women? What you gonna think? You gonna tell us no? And I'm saying that, N.M. Hawkins, to say systemically, yes, men may want to earn more than their female counterparts, and women may want men to earn more than them. But when you have a free and open society, and women could openly compete for jobs and careers and positions just as much as men, and occasionally they will be chosen over the men, then guess what you have? That means the women are going to have to date down financially and marry down financially. 40% of women already earn more than their male counterparts, N.M. Hawkins. I didn't say black women. I said women. In America, 40% of women earn more than their male counterparts. So what y'all going to do? Just not marry, not so end up with each other then. Mr. Z is not against. Hey, I know what country we live in. This is a free and open society. That means it's a free and open society for sexuality also. Then end up with other women then. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? If women are saying that when we earn a certain amount, we refuse to date and marry men that are financially on a lower level than us, right? What y'all used to tell Kevin? Well, yeah, I'll be okay if he earns 40 as long as he wants to do this and open a business. No. He's going to earn 40 and his money is going to go up with the cost of living every year. So he'll earn 40 today and then tomorrow he'll earn 4,500 and then 41,000 and 40 whatever, 42,000, and it's just going to be that. N.M. Hawkins, 2/3 of men, that's 66% of men, not just black men, 2/3 of men in America never earn more than $65,000 a year. 2/3 of men in America never earn more than $65,000 a year in their life. Right? So we had N.M. Hawkins, who was the other sister that was here a little bit earlier, right? Y'all are saying these things. Y'all need to get out those echo chambers y'all in, bro. Y'all really do. Right? I know y'all think it's all rah 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 hate black women thing over here, but we having the conversation. We debating. We talking about numbers. We talking about money. We're talking about all of that over here. Right? Or the other sister name was Yana Bean. Okay, yeah. We're talking about all of that over here. And y'all are in y'all echo chambers, and Chrissy and Yanny and Paris and Lexus Exodus and Mahogany Pink and Shira Seven and you name them, hashtag Black Women, Divested Zealot, whatever, whoever they are over there. They're not talking about none of this. No wonder y'all are so delusional. The nighttime streams we have, the midday streams we have, the daytime streams we have, the morning streams we have, we talk about all of this. All of it. The economy, the political system, everything. Sports, like I said, cars, all the things Yanny wish her and her homegirls were talking about, the men are talking about already. Starting businesses, all of it. Traveling, all of it. That's why we understand what's going on and we understand what's coming down the pike. This stagflation, is it surprising to us? No. Right? Even during COVID, you know who was at the cutting edge of talking about what's going on during COVID? Us. You know who wasn't in line fighting for toilet paper? Us. Right? Right? N.M. Hawkins, what are y'all going to do about the fact that 2/3 of men never earn more than $65,000 a year, but yet y'all delusional and y'all all looking for six-figure dudes? What you going to do about that? What are you going to do about the fact that 60% of Americans can't afford $1,000 emergency? I didn't say black people. I said Americans. That's why over here we laugh when y'all like, we gotta go swirl, we gotta go divest to who? The extra regular ass white dude who still can't afford $1,000 emergency? 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't say black people. Would they say 10% of people or 90% of stocks or something like that? All that, yeah, we gotta buy stocks here, and then we're gonna move this over there, and then we're gonna have this money over here, and then we're gonna have money. Yeah, 10% of Americans own 90% of the goddamn stocks. Hmm. Oh, okay. We are not all looking for six-figure dudes. Well, like I said, 2/3 of men never earn more than $65,000 a year in America. So even if y'all were all looking for six-figure dudes, it just wasn't gonna work. $75,000 a year dudes. That's what 20 or so percent, maybe 25% of men earn 75 or more, something like that. And once again, I'm not just talking about black men because I know y'all don't care about just black men. So I'm making sure to include all men in America, right? Well, and she said over 65 for me. Well, that's good for you. I don't know if you're saying you earn more than 65 or you're saying your man earns more than 65. But we're talking about women in general, N.M. Hawkins. Could you stop being solipsistic for 1 second? I get it. You and Yanny and y'all, I just want to be selfish and self-centered. Could you stop it for just 1 second and have a macro conversation? Is that possible? Right? So when we're talking over here, yes, we have conversations about us individually and our lives individually. Yeah, we do. And we have a whole lot of macro conversation. So maybe you get it, N.M. Hawkins, but all the other Yanny subscribers and Chrissy and Paris subscribers, ugh, not so much. And N.M. Hawkins says, I understand the state of the economy. That is why I have a degree and may get another one. That's great. And what we're saying is, you do, like I said, we're not just talking about you, Miss Hawkins, right? Trell, I ain't messing with you. I'm not messing with you. Ah, right. And by the way, Miss Hawkins, you're not the only one that's part of that group of over $65,000 a year, right? But we understand that don't mean nothing because you're still black in America. The one thing y'all wish y'all weren't, right? And like I said, what 20 or so percent of black people earn more than $50,000 a year. Something like 20% of black Americans earn more than $50,000 a year. Okay, fine. We're part of the top 20% of black Americans, right? Huh. What's the median income in America? What, 38, $40,000, something like that? The median income in America for all Americans. I'm not just talking about black people. Yes, N.M. Hawkins, we understand. It means that you can live a comfortable life. And what ends up happening oftentimes is that your contempt for men only grows with your income. I would like to direct you to Yanny. We get it. I understood your point from the beginning, right? That's why we were speaking about Yanny earlier. The more financially stable y'all are, the more contempt y'all have for men. Meanwhile, you still want men. You definitely still want to have sex with men. You definitely still want attention from the opposite sex, which is men, but you have contempt for men. Yeah, we get it, right? And it's good that you can afford yourself that lifestyle. No one's taken away from that. But what does that mean for a man, right? Whenever women say how much they earn, it's like men are like, okay, and I mean what for me? Because you definitely gonna be spending that money on me, right? Ain't y'all the same ones that say no struggle love and I need to be selfish and self-centered and et cetera, et cetera. So you earn 65 plus. What that mean for a man? Would you buy me a PS5? You gonna buy me the PS5? No? Okay then. What that mean for me? See, the difference between a man that's in your position and you is that a man that's in your position understand that that money ain't just for him, right? That 65, that 70, that 75 is for him and whatever girlfriend or whatever wife he has. And definitely if he has children. See, men aren't raised that my money is my money and her money is my money. Women, on the other hand, like you, Miss N.M. Hawkins, ugh, right? That's why your 65 plus don't mean nothing to us. That's the difference between men's money and women's money. Men's money is for everybody. Women's money is for them. Maybe the kids. You want to talk about gender roles? Well, there you go. Right? And Will AR says, Black women keep conflating their own personal anecdotal situation with the general situation. That is so doggone annoying, for real, for real. Hey, bro, we're having the conversation with her right now. We're having the conversation, right? And NM Hawkins says, I might buy for a gift. We know, but we talking about paying bills. We talking about reoccurring things. We talking about just sliding $20 over just because, sliding $50 over just because. The second I touch my girl's car, her tank is full. That's what we're talking about. Hey, I need you to go run this money down to my mom real quick. Here's gas money. Here's extra money for inconvenience. That's what we're talking about. Babe, I don't feel like leaving the house. Get me something to eat, and here's money for you to get something to eat for yourself too. That's what we're talking about. Not just a gift, right? For his birthday or for Christmas. No, that is not what we're talking about. Right? And they can't help it. Look, Will AR said, Idem Hawkins, stop conflating your personal situation with the average general situation. What you do is not the overall situation. They can't help it, bro. Where's Black Uru when you need him? Solipsistic. Right? And Will AR, thank you for the super chat. I forgot to say that. Thank you very much, brother, for the super chat. Will AR making it rain today. Will AR said, y'all gonna see these damn comments. Shout out to the replay squad. Right? And that's the important part here, right? Oh, that's crazy. And Trell says, I was reading a comment yesterday from a married woman who stays home and the husband made under 50. It's possible. Depending on where you live, but y'all ain't buying nice new stuff though. It ain't gonna be all super grand and expensive and especially if you have no kids yet, you know, In certain cities, if he's earning 65, 70, y'all can make it work. Y'all can make it work, right? Y'all can make it work. Y'all excuse the background. But yeah, y'all can make it work. It's just all the super nice stuff. Yeah, that ain't happening, right? But you know what? On that note, wait. Can you guys hear me now? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Oh wow. I turned off the car and it turned off the mic. What? Oh, okay, okay. Newfangled technology. Okay, okay, okay. No, I'm still here. No, I was closing out anyway, but I was saying, you know, we this was a great conversation about women decentering men. Shout out to some of you brothers that said, Z, you triggered them, you triggered them. Um, and apparently I did, right? Apparently I did trigger the ladies. Like I said before, I don't know if they listen, and I would like if they did, because then they have to address what I'm saying, right? Address what I'm saying. Women simply don't. Yanny, Inim Hawkins, Yana Bean. Women simply don't earn enough to do what Yanny's talking about. Decentering men, that's not a thing. The vast majority of women, forget just black women, the vast majority of women in America just don't earn enough. The vast majority of women anywhere on this planet just don't earn enough. That's one of the issues South Korea was having or is having. Women don't earn enough to be single, and so many of millennials are starting to get into their 40s, and the South Korean government is panicking because their social safety nets are not going to be strong enough to deal with these women who won't have their husband's pension when their would-be husband would have died and left the money to them. They're not going to have that because they never got married, and they don't have children, so they don't even have the Korean government, South Korean government won't even have those would-be children to help to pay for some of the costs of taking care of these women as they get older. So she didn't have a husband, she didn't have children, and she was a regular worker earning the US equivalent of $40,000 and $45,000 a year. How is this supposed to work? Like I said, Yanny could talk like that. Kim Foster could talk like that. Chrissy could talk like that. The average sister who's listening to them and who's taking on this ideology can't, but yet is going to act like they can until they run smack into that wall. Bah! Right? If your average woman is earning less than $50,000 a year, where is all this concept of decentering men coming from? How? Right? Even when they say more women are in relationships than men, there's more single men. That's because those women are in relationship with older men, way older men, 5, 6, 7 years older plus. So yeah, she earned $35,000 a year as a 29-year-old, 28-year-old, and she's with a 40-year-old, a 38-year-old who earns 60, who earns 70. That's why she's not at home with her parents. That's if she's not at home with her parents. Right? And thank you, 18th letter, for the super chat. And 18th letter says, let's talk about how Zaddy put these swirlers to work in their relationships and they have no problem lowering their standards working for broke Brad. That's another thing. Many black women do not want to have the conversation about all the things you say you won't do, right? But when you're in a relationship with a non-black dude, those Latinos and those white guys got y'all paying for everything. Because if you doing it for Pookie, we know you doing it for the white Pookie, for Wookie, right? For the white Pookie. If the black Pookie got you buying him a new PS5, he barely could hold down a job. We know the white ones, or we know you doing everything for him. Will AR, you see what I'm saying? DJ Pope, anyone? Right? So, dear ladies, fine. Don't decenter black men. Decenter men. Let's see how that worked for you in 20, 30 years. Because talking about white men, the uber wealthy white men are salivating. That she memo that the she economy memo that I keep on telling y'all to read from Morgan Stanley, that's what they were doing. They were salivating over all these single women because single women spend more money than married women. What they were saying is, all these single women, we need to talk to our investors. We need to talk to all the people we got money with to tell them to target women, target single women. So many of these women are going to be single. Target them with all the makeup stuff and all the clothes and all the little rose toys and all of that. All the little smell good stuff. The perfume, yes. Target them with all the jewelry, all the little female knickknacks. The rich white guys are salivating over the fact that y'all going to be single. Because they're going to hit y'all upside the head with so much consumer goods to make up for your lonely ass, depressing ass life. And once again, we were using Yanny as an avatar, but Yanny's good financially. She'd be all right financially. Now, mentally and emotionally, that's a different conversation. But financially, Yanny's going to be all right. What about the rest of you? So, yeah. How is this supposed to work for the rest of you? You $50,000, $55,000 and less earning women. And remember, we're not in the 90s. You could have did something with 55 in the 90s. You could have did something with 45 in the 90s. So Yanny telling y'all about decentering men. And that's not all right. Decentering men from conversations and when we go out. All right, I'm cool with that. Yeah, Yanny, you make all right. The girls go out and they talk about something else. They talk about arts and crafts or some television show they're watching. Yeah, cool. But decentering men and then you got to go back home to the bills. Right? Or Yanny think y'all could be like her and have contempt for men while dating them. Let me know how that's gonna work. Right? If 60% of Americans can't afford $1,000 emergency, how much y'all want to bet that's more women than men? We already know women hold 2/3 of student loan debt. Y'all ain't never gonna finish paying that off. We know that. That's why y'all were begging Biden for college loan forgiveness. Women hold 2/3 of college student loan debt. And what's that at? What, 1.6, $1.8 trillion? Something stupid. Fastly approaching $2 trillion of college loan debt, and women hold 2/3 of that. So we put your car note with the college loan debt and your apartment cost, And how much money do you actually have at your discretion every month? And you want to decenter men. All right. Yanny could do it. Like I said, Paris could do it. Yes, we know Paris is married. Chrissy could do it. Kim Foster could do it. All these other women talking to y'all like this could do it because they making good YouTube money. You, on the other hand, as a $40,000, $45,000, $50,000 a year woman, let's be honest, $35,000 a year, $30,000 a year woman, can you do that? I don't know, right? So, on that note, we're at 2 hours and 35 minutes. Mr. Z has rambled enough. So like I told y'all before, I'm supposed to be Black Manosphere Show of the Week um tomorrow night. So y'all stay tuned. Um yeah. So on that note, and if you ladies want to call in, y'all could call in, right? Tomorrow night, what's that? 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central time, right? So yeah. And the 18th letter says, and thank you for the super chat. The 18th letter says, Yanny, Chrissy, and Paris will be okay because they've been grifted off of black women's anger and delusion. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, 18th letter. They'll be all right. What about the rest of you? Trell, I ain't reading that out loud, Trell. I ain't reading that out loud. Right? So yeah, y'all go ahead and decenter men. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. It sounds good. It diddles your little ego, but have fun actually trying it. Oh, and have fun when we realize the individual man you're dating, when he realized that. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. And on that note, y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God, so y'all don't sound like these people. The ladies that are listening in him, if you're still listening in, go check out the Mouse Utopia Project or Mouse Utopia Experiment. You could type that in and bring up the same thing. Or Behavioral Sync, you could type that in, it'll bring up the same thing. And also, and by the way, that's on YouTube. And then you can type into Google She Economy, the She Economy Morgan Stanley memo, right? Or Morgan Stanley report. Either way, it'll bring you onto their website and you can read the memo and you can see how the white dudes are salivating over the fact they know y'all gonna be single as hell at 45%, right? And they're gonna target y'all with all type of lifestyle brands and all type of whatever the hell. Right? So y'all go ahead. We'll end out here. Like I said before, let's do our outro again. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I'm sorry, what am I saying? That's my intro. Mr. Z, what you got going on? Because Mr. Z been talking for a while. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you, button for the replay squad. This was actually a really good conversation. If y'all want to bring this up again tomorrow night, y'all can. You know, decentering men, like I said, I'm not actually against it. Like, go ahead and do that. I don't know how it's gonna work for the masses of women, black women in particular, but I guess, right, especially in an economy that's built off of two income houses, right? Two, what is it, dink, dual income, no kids, but still dual income economy built for dual income, and y'all want to do this, and most of y'all don't earn what N.M. Hawkins talking about over 65,000. So you let me know how this is gonna work. But okay, yeah. So like, share, subscribe. We'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. Go check out other non-Manosphere content for the love of God, so y'all don't sound like these people. And yeah, we'll pause right here. Jeez, yeah. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. This fire conversation. Just yeah. Y'all have me dying in the comments. Shout out to Yana Bean and N.M. Hawkins. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Equality doesn't mean the end of gender roles. Oh, well, what? Anyway, all right, everybody. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.